Welcome back, dear viewers, and you are still watching The Breakfast Show. And in this segment of our program, we will talk about preparations for the new academic years in universities. Also, we'll shed light on the new non-for-profit universities, which are due to be inaugurated in the coming days. And we are joined today by Dr. Mohamed Al-Shinawy, Higher Education Ministry Counselor for International Relations. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So, sir, let's start by preparations for the new academic year and how does the ministry preparing for distance learning?
Thank you for this question, because we had been asked this question many times.
Yes.
And we would like to assure all the families in Egypt and outside of Egypt for our international students that we're taking all the measures needed in this regard.
Yes.
So we are starting by having all the safety measures, all the hygienic measures for the students, preparing for the online education if
Yes.
needed. So what we are going to do, inshallah, that we are going to divide the students, those who are in the practical sector,
Yes.
like the engineering, the medicine, they will be studying for 4 days in campus with all the safety measures needed, with the keeping distance and all of this stuff, and 3 days online education, or what we call hybrid education. On the other side, for those of the humanitarian part, they will be attending for 2 or 3 days, and then the other part will be online education. When we're talking about the online education, we are talking about the hybrid one, where the students will be sitting and interacting with their professors. Sometimes we'll have what's called blended learning. There's a difference between the hybrid and the blended. When we're talking about the hybrid, they are interacting. Sometimes there will be some recorded materials for the students to revise and see. The most important that we started to have our own platforms, and we are prepared for that.
Yes.
And we thank God that we started actually this before the COVID-19 pandemic. So we started in 2018 and 2019 preparing all our infrastructure, and we have a big project with the ICT ministry to prepare for this. So when the COVID-19 crisis or pandemic came, the universities were prepared to accommodate this pandemic, and we continued our years. And you see that Egypt were one of the few, thank God, that managed to have the final exams done. Yes. for the students and pass safely.
So, sir, also the ministry is preparing for the inauguration of the new non-for-profit universities in the coming days. So, tell us more about these universities.
Actually, these universities were one of the dreams that the ministry was trying to have. And if you imagine that we started in 2016 and 17 to start these universities, and they were finalized in less than 3 years. We are going to start with 4 universities.
Yes.
This year we start with 3 universities, which are Galala, and this is in Ain al-Sukhna, and Alamin in Alamin City, and King Salman with its 3 branches in Ras Sedr, Tour, and Sharm el-Sheikh. And next year, inshallah, it will be New Mansoura in Mansoura. And we got the approval, the presidential approval, to have another 10 universities.
So these universities have started operation?
They will start operation within 3, in the upcoming days, 3 of them, which are Galala.
They will start to receive students?
They already received the students, and we have the acceptance. Okay. And we send them, and they are going to start their first year within few days.
So what is the reason behind choosing these locations for the universities? Because I can see that most of them is outside Cairo.
This is a very good question, actually, and
Yes.
thank you for asking this. Actually, if you look at these locations,
Yeah.
you will find that these locations are new industrial areas and
Yes.
new development areas in Egypt. So when you look at Alamin, we are preparing an international port there, an international city.
Okay.
Having a university will be the start for that. At the same time, if you look at Galala and the new Galala city, also having a university and linking this university to the industry will be crucial. And of course, Sinai, and Sinai is in our heart always, and we needed to have the development of Sinai, because it was one of the challenges that we didn't have only one university in North Sinai, but we didn't have any universities in South Sinai. So having King Salman with its 3 branches, I think it would be an add value to the development of Sinai in general.
So King Salman University will be in Sinai?
It will be in Ras Sedr, Tur, and Sharm el-Sheikh.
Only
Three branches.
Yes, only in Sinai.
Yes.
And in what branches in education?
In Ras Sedr, you'll find that there will be desert agriculture.
Okay, so it is related.
Yes.
To
In
the
Tur,
place.
it will be have medicine, dental, pharmacy, and in Sharm el-Sheikh, you will have tourism and link it
Okay.
and business. So it's linked to what are the actual needs for
Of the
the place.
So what about the Al Galala?
For
University?
Galala, it will have more than 60 programs, including medicine, dental, pharmacy, public health. There will be business, there will be engineering. And we had a discussion yesterday that we will need to add tourism also because of the industry around.
Yes.
There will be food processing and food safety, nanotechnology, biotechnology, geophysics. All of these programs will be included.
And do you accept international students in these universities?
Actually, when we're thinking about these universities, one of the main things was internationalization in general.
Yes.
And when His Excellency the President signed the declaration for this, the decree for these universities, it included in their mandates is internationalization.
Yes.
So we are not only looking for Egyptian students, but we are recruiting also international students. And if you look at the numbers, you'll find that Egypt is one of the best 20 hubs for international education worldwide.
Yes.
And this is according to the UNESCO. Last year, we had more than 80,000 international students studying in Egypt. And our aim
Yes.
is to increase them.
And what make these universities differ from other universities related to the Ministry of Higher Education?
What's different that we were looking for the fourth industrial revolution.
Okay.
And we were adapting our programs and curriculums according to that. We have now what's called the Education Strategy 4.0,
Yes.
where what we need to increase access, internationalization, align with the labor market, and improve the quality of all our curriculums. So accordingly, we started to design our programs, and then to see what are the needs of the region and what are the needs, local needs, the regional need. When I'm talking about the regional need, I'm talking about the Middle East and the Mediterranean,
Yes.
and what are the continent need for Africa, and then worldwide need, so that my graduate is a worldwide graduate, not only a local graduate. So we studied that. We started to decide which programs do we need, and accordingly we put the curriculum. But if you put a good program and a good curriculum without the way of teaching and having a good teachers to teach these, you will fill all the spaces that's needed.
So, sir, if we talk about these universities and it is non-for-profit, so you don't accept fees from students or only small amount of money?
It's with fees, so you have to pay to go into these universities.
Yes.
And the fees are not that high,
Yes.
but it's reasonable.
It's reasonable.
But if there is any profit that came out to the university, will be reinvested again in the
Okay,
university.
this is what is meant by non-for-profit
Yes.
universities.
Yes.
Okay. So, sir, if we talk about international agreements that were signed with foreign universities in Egypt, can you tell us more about these agreements?
Actually, these for the 3 new universities, it's in the process. We are talking with different universities, high-ranked universities worldwide. We're
Yes.
talking about the United States. We're talking about United Kingdom. We're talking about Japan. We're talking about Austria.
Yes.
All of those we are finalizing the agreements, but it's not an easy task. It's very tough negotiations.
Yes.
You are negotiating with very high-level universities, high-ranked. So we are nearly in the finalizing some points so that we could have the acceptance of the Board of Trustees to have these universities. And when we are going to have these universities here in Egypt, they are going to give our students a dual degree. So our student will be a graduate of this ex-university from the United States and Galala University.
Yes, actually Egyptians spend so much money in education and sending their children abroad to have a certificate. So this will be a good idea if we open branches for these universities here in Egypt. And I think this is the target now of the Ministry of Higher Education, right?
Exactly. We are not going to prevent our students from traveling, but we
Yes.
are trying to offer them the same type and the same quality. It's not only about the name, but what's more important for us is the quality of education that's given to our students in these branch campuses
Yes.
here in Egypt, or with those who are going to come with us in the non-for-profit universities. So the quality of education, the same accreditation, the same quality assurance is crucial for us. So by having this strategy, actually the numbers of students who are traveling abroad are decreasing, and the number of international students who are coming to study in Egypt is increasing. And this is one of our strategies, because we suffered a lot from the brain drainage. Many of our students who travel abroad,
Yes.
they stay there and they are not back, but we are making this link. And you'll be surprised that many of those who are traveling, Egyptians who are traveling abroad, when we open these new universities, they are coming either completely, return back to Egypt to teach in this university and to be affiliated.
Yes.
Some of them would like to be affiliated, some of them will be visiting professors, some will be adjunct.
Yes.
So actually this is a new way to attract again our brains outside.
So, sir, also one of the important universities that was inaugurated in the past days was the Egyptian-Japanese University for Sciences and Technology. It was inaugurated in Burj Al Arab by the president. So, to what extent this university shows Egypt's interests in science and technology, and the importance of graduating new scientists, Egyptian scientists, for developing the country?
Actually, this is the second phase of the EJUST, which is the Egyptian-Japanese University for Science and Technology, which is inaugurated by His Excellency the President, and with the presence of Professor Khalid Abdel Ghaffar, Minister of Higher Education. And actually, this is one of the fruits of the cooperation, the very strong cooperations between Egypt and Japan. When you are moving in the EJUST, you will feel that you are in a Japanese university.
True.
You will find Japanese professors, Japanese curriculum, and the students also are traveling to Japan.
This is amazing what I'm hearing.
Yes, yes. And they are having the highest technology ever you could imagine.
Yes.
Because our aim is to have our students not only graduated with the science and technology, but also we are trying to give them the 21st century skills. When you are talking about that, you are talking about the 4C: critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication, digital illiteracy. You have to work on that. You have to work on the leadership, responsibility. All of these skills has to be embedded into our graduates and our students, because they will be the leaders of the future.
Yes.
So we need to give them all of these things. We are considering all of that beside the curriculum they are being taught. So the EJUST is an example of that.
So, sir, also still, I want you to encourage Egyptians to go and try these new universities, because many parents are still confident only in Cairo University, in Shams University. They still don't feel at ease if they go and join these new universities.
I myself, I'm proud that I'm an Ain Shamsi graduate,
Yes.
but we are encouraging them to explore.
Yes.
Because there will be 21st century jobs also.
Yes.
So the students has to be aware that there are some jobs that will disappear, and there are new jobs like the big data, the artificial intelligence, all of these, the megatronics, all of these type of programs will be needed. So we are encouraging them to start exploring.
To think out of the box.
Yes, and exploring.
Yes. Also, if we talk about the challenges that still face the Ministry of Higher Education, and how will the ministry work on facing these challenges?
When you're talking about the challenges, you know that the Ministry of Higher Education, we have more than 27 public universities,
Yes.
around 35 private universities, the 4 new non-for-profit universities. This is plus the international branch campuses.
Yes.
This is plus the EJUST and the UC and others, and having 3.2 million students. All of these challenges, what we need to do is to improve the quality and keep the quality, and always improve the quality of the programs, of the curriculums, the capacity building for our staff and faculty in all of these universities,
Yes.
providing them with all the capabilities needed so that they be adapted to the curriculum that we are changing. One of the crucial things is to align with the labor market. So we are always making some surveys, cooperating with some of the big entities and the big, like the World Bank, to have a report about what are the needs for the market, so that we align our programs accordingly. So these are some of the challenges that we are working hard. Also, don't forget about the part that we also have the university hospitals and the role that we played
Yes.
during the COVID-19. So also the university hospitals is also another way of challenge that we are trying to improve always.
Also, we still need to lessen the bridge between the newly graduates and the needs of the market. It's a big gap, and we need to work on it to prepare graduates for the new markets. So how can we do this?
This is actually being done by always cooperating with the private sector and other ministers, so that we see what are the needs, what exactly the type of graduation the graduates of they need, which type of programs, what are the gap, and we always do the gap analysis, and accordingly we start to prepare our programs and curriculums to these needs. But when we are looking at that, we are not only looking about the local market, and this I have to stress on. We also are doing some studies as regards the regional market and the continent market, because Africa now is, we always say that Egypt is the gate to Africa. So we are always considering what are the needs for the African continent, what are the needs of the African countries. One, to prepare our graduates if they have opportunities to work there, or also to work in Europe and the other countries, and at the same time to attract students from these countries to come and study in Egypt.
So, sir, also if we talk about the role, as you just said, about the private sector and its role in higher education and in investing in this sector.
As I mentioned, we have 27 public universities and around 35 private universities, but if you look at the numbers, you'll find in disproportionate. You'll find that more than 85% of the students are in the public sector, while less than 15% are in the private sector.
Yes.
And we are trying to balance this. So we are encouraging the investors and giving all the opportunities to invest in the universities.
Yes.
But when we are talking about the private universities, we are not only talking about the teaching part. We are trying to encourage the private university also to be embedded within the research part also. This research part is crucial for our universities. That's why we are encouraging our private universities to start thinking about the ranking and to be included in the world ranking. You'll find that the public universities in 2015, we only have 4 public universities included in one of the world ranking, like the Times Higher Education. Now in 2020, we are talking about more than 22 Egyptian public universities are in one of the rankings, like the Time Higher Education, QS, or Shanghai. While looking at the private sector, you'll find that less universities are included in that, and this is due to the reduced number of research that's coming out of this university. So we are trying to encourage them. Also, you'll find that the private investors were with us when we started the international branch campuses in the new administrative capital, and they already started last year by 4 universities actually.
So, sir, also you said that the president gave his directives for funding the establishment of 10 non-for-profit universities across Egypt. So can you tell us about the other universities other than the one in Alamein and El Galala?
So this was one of our strategy in the Ministry of Higher Education, to have these 10 universities. And when you look at the locations, they will be located in relation with one of the public universities in these governorate. So you will find one in Aswan, in Hilwan, in Borg Al Arab, in Asyut, in east of Suez, east of Port Said. So it will be all over.
Not only in Cairo.
Not only in Cairo. We are getting out of Cairo. And you'll find that from the new universities. You'll find them in Galala, Alamein, other places outside of Cairo.
So, sir, also if we talk about the preparations for the new academic year, and how do you expect this year to work?
This is a tough question. You see what's happening worldwide, and the second wave that's in Europe, and many countries are back to lockdown. Alhamdulillah, in Egypt things are stable, and we hope that people will keep on the all the needs and requirements for this to stay safe. and the social distance and wearing their masks. We are prepared in the universities. We put our strategy if we're going to continue this hybrid.
If any
lockdown happened, we are prepared with our platforms
an alternative
plan to move 100% online, and already our platforms are ready. And from last year, more than 80%, actually 85% of the lectures and the curriculums were uploaded into the different Egyptian universities platform.
So finally, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Mohamed Shinawy, Higher Education Ministry Counselor for International Relations. Thank you, sir, for being with us today.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
And dear viewers, a short break and we'll be back, so stay tuned.